Hello and welcome to the Grand Line Review, your source for everything One Piece. Today, we are going to slip on our negative hats and look at some aspects of One Piece that people don't necessarily like. In fact, we're going a step further than that, and we are going to shine a spotlight onto certain characters that much of the fanbase flat out hate. Given that, the criteria for this list is fairly simple. The character needs to be canon, and they need to have a lot of hate surrounding them. Easy, easy. So with that out of the way, let's begin. Welcome to the top 5 most hated characters in One Piece. Number 5. Sakazuki. Now here's a bit of a polarizing one to start off the list. Personally, I love Sakazuki. I think he is a necessary evil in the world of One Piece and a fantastic representation of what happens when good people take their ideals too far. However, due to Sakazuki's morally questionable stance on justice, he does often engage in actions that generate hate within the One Piece community. The most prominent of these actions is obviously killing Ace, which definitely miffed most Ace fans. Of course, if you weren't a fan of Ace, then this made Sakazuki a hero, so we need a bit more to justify his presence here. And well, we happen to have just that, because another prominent source of hatred towards Sakazuki stems from his complete disregard for all human life. For example, he was the one who ordered the effective genocide of the citizens of Ohara for the sake of quote-unquote justice. And furthermore, he is even willing to kill his own subordinates simply for contradicting his own personal beliefs. So yeah, he's a bit of a dick, to say the least, but he's still a great character, and that's why Sakazuki will go no further on this list. Number 4. Shirahoshi. Now, there are some annoying characters in One Piece. Some of them evolve to be quite well loved, while others just disappear into obscurity, never to be thought of again. And unfortunately, it's a bit difficult to forget Shirahoshi, primarily because she happens to be the biggest mermaid in all of existence, and oh right, she also just so happened to inherit the power of the ancient weapon Poseidon. That's right, one of the 3 great powers in the world is in her hands. Sounds like a pretty cool character so far, actually. That is, until you realize that Shirahoshi seems to communicate almost exclusively through crying. It's a bit of an odd quirk introduced by Oda, and one that did not translate very well in the fanbase. As a result, Shirahoshi is rendered entirely useless in any given situation. On top of that, she is also ridiculously naive, with one particular incident coming to mind. As it just so happens, her pet shark Megalo witnessed the death of Shirahoshi's mother Otohime. Megalo then told Shirahoshi who killed Otohime, and Shirahoshi did nothing. But why? Because she didn't want people to hate the killer, Hody Jones. I honestly cannot think of a character in the series that I find more annoying, and I completely understand the hatred thrown towards her. However, as we are about to see, the most annoying does not necessarily translate into the most hated. Number 3. Steely. Yeah, this little shit. So Steely is a noble, not to be confused with the world nobles though. Steely is simply a noble of the Goa Kingdom and actually its current king. His personality, however, is exactly what you would expect of a world noble. He is extraordinarily arrogant and views those of lesser status as nothing but trash. And of course, like most individuals in this position, he becomes a puddle of tears and urine when being threatened by someone who actually has more power than him. He is an infuriating, entitled little prick, and it's hard to believe, but he's actually uglier on the inside than he is on the outside. As the king of Goa Kingdom, Steely is set to take part in the upcoming reverie, and I am personally hoping and praying that he gets smacked down hard during that arc. And let's be honest here, a punch in the face couldn't possibly make it look any worse. Hell, it might even be an improvement. Number 2. Spandam. So originally, the ex-leader of CP9 didn't seem like such a bad character. He had a particular trait of being clumsy, which projected him as more of a buggy-style comedic villain. And then Spandam quickly crossed a line from lovable comic villain to hated piece of crap during the Enies Lobby arc. And this mostly stems from his treatment of Nico Robin. Sure, characters like Rob Lucci didn't exactly roll out the red carpet for Robin, but Spandam took things way too far, when in addition to verbally abusing her, he also proceeded to frequently physically abuse her, doing things like grabbing her hair, shoving her face into the ground, and even full-on punching her. This guy deserved absolutely everything that came his way and more. Honestly, I still don't think he's paid the appropriate price for his actions at Enies Lobby. Thankfully, he came back into the story just after Doflamingo's defeat, so I am just waiting for the day where he is misfortunate enough to come across the Straw Hat Pirates once more. Although admittedly, the one hilarious remaining thing about Spandam is that when measuring power levels, it was empirically proven by Fukuro that Spandam is actually weaker than the average Marine. But seriously, screw this guy. Number 1. Saint Charlos. So earlier with Steely, I made the distinction between regular noble and world noble. Well, here we have the best possible example of a world noble, and it has won him the number 1 spot. Saint Charlos is the epitome of generations of inbreeding amongst affluent corruption. People aren't just trash to this world noble, they're his playthings, toys to be abused for his amusement, and he believes that all of this is his birthright, and he takes a sadistic pleasure in such actions. For example, Saint Fuckface here purposely goes out of his way to push his slaves to their very limits and then sells them off simply to ensure their continued suffering. He's also the kind of guy who would say spend an outrageous amount of money to buy a mermaid just to put her in a tank full of piranhas for the entertainment of watching her struggle and eventual demise. Thankfully, he didn't succeed in that last one, but that was certainly his intention. However, instead he shot beloved One Piece fan character Hachi, and that really was the last straw, prompting Luffy to send one of the best punches in the series flying right into his fat face. And as satisfying as that was, it undoes nothing. This guy is absolutely detestable even amongst world nobles. And I guess if nothing else, that's a pretty impressive achievement, and it has won him the number 1 spot on this list. And that pretty much does it for the top 5 most hated characters in One Piece. If you enjoyed this video, then feel free to like, favorite, or subscribe, and please do comment with your most hated characters in the series. This has been the Grand Line Review, and I'll see you next time.